Welcome to Microsoft Excel with EJD. In this video, we're talking about pivot tables and pivot charts in Excel. Pivot tables and pivot charts are among the most powerful tools in Excel, and they are very good for summarizing, analyzing, exploring, and presenting data. I remember under data analysis with Python, we got to points where we also use some pivot things like that. So there are better ways of representing information than using the normal data frames, right? So they present data in a better fashion, and thankfully we have it in Excel too. They allow users to extract meaning from large data sets with minimal effort and no complex formulas. That's what pivot tables and pivot charts are known for. Now, the question is, how do you create a pivot table step by step? First of all, we are using the sales report data set I have right here. Then I'll try to expand that as much as possible. Okay. Now, how do you create pivot table? First, you prepare your data. Of course, I have my data ready. Ensure your data set is in tabular format with clear column headers. So column headers, mind you, not row headers, column headers like this. So anything you want, you can make that happen. Okay, for this purpose, I just want to delete this profit part because I want to be able to just create that in the pivot table. So that is gone. Okay, so ensure your data is in tabular format with clear column headers, no blank rows or columns. So make sure there's no row that is blank or no column that is blank. If there's anyone, just remove them. Okay. So next thing, you can convert to an Excel table using Control T. So by using Control T, you can convert to an Excel table. So that's a shortcut for making a data range into a table. So by pressing Control T, you can just say, make sure you have highlighted any part of the range and Control T, and then it asks you which range you want the data to be. So, and it's giving you A1, which is from here to H11, and that's perfect. So, and make sure if it, because it has headers, so you can just say my table has headers. So you just say, okay. So you can see it has converted into a table. You can make it like this. You can make it anything you want it to make it, but I think this is good. Now that it is in a table format, the next thing you want to do is insert. You want to now insert a pivot table. And the way to do that is you have to be sure. So if you click on this and you try to insert a pivot table, it won't work because you have not chosen any particular range. So if you do this, there's nothing there. So it just shows a column there, which doesn't mean anything. So we can get rid of that, right? So make sure you have highlighted any cell in this whole range that you have selected. Then you come to insert, and then you can have, oh, okay, what I even had before was table, not pivot, not the normal pivot table. So it was deactivated because there was nothing for it to do there. So you now come to pivot table, right? So click on pivot table, or better still, let's say, okay, yeah, from table range from what we have. So you can just click on this directly, and then the table range, you can call it table one. So because we've named it like that, once we create that table, and the location, where do you want the location to be? Let's say, uh, do you want it to in a new worksheet? You can have this in a new worksheet. You can as well have it. Okay, let's have it in a new worksheet, right? Let's have it in a new worksheet so that we can really see. And then, so new worksheet. If you want it in the existing worksheet, you can now specify. Like if you want it here, you know, you can just have that and press OK, and you have the table coming. But it's always nice to have it in a new worksheet so that it's totally on its own. So I come again and I come to insert, and I have pivot table. So new worksheet, I just press OK. So it automatically creates a new worksheet. So you can see this is a whole window for a whole sheet for the pivot table. Now, so what are we doing? So select any cell in the data set. We've done that. Then go to the insert tab, click pivot table. That's what we've done. Choose to place the pivot table in a new worksheet or existing worksheet. We have chosen a new worksheet in this case, and then we have clicked OK. So we have this environment for it. And once this is done, you can now build the pivot table. Use the pivot table field list. So you can drag into rows. So you can drag these things here. All these date region products, they were things we found in sheet one, right? So you can drag them into these places depending on what exactly you want. So you can drag into rows, into columns, into values, and into filters. So these values are particularly for if you need to do summation and things like that. That's what values are meant for. For example, for this sales report we are working with right now, so you can drag region to rows. So you want to see the rows in you want to see the regions in row format. So once you do that, you can see the regions have appeared, you know. Um, Okay, they are not sorted, right? So, but we can just leave it the way it is. So we have they are sorted, of course. So you have east, north, south, west because you want the regions to be in rows. And then what if you want to see visualize each product? All right, let's see which products do we even have here. So you have products like printer, smartphone, laptop, tablet. But the benefit of pivot table is that all this printer, laptop appearing more than once, tablet appearing more than once, and all this will not appear more than once on the pivot table. It's like a perfect way of summarizing everything. And that's why it's a pivot table. So you have rows in regions in rows, and you can have your product in columns. So drag the product to columns now. So you can see you now have laptop, printer, smartphone, tablet, and then you can have the grand total. But I mean, you have not put any value yet. So if you want to see you can now put sales, you can put values, sales to values now. So you drag this here and you have values. So you can see that. So you see that in the east, we only had uh smartphone sold, and that's all that is giving all this total. In the south, we had 42,947.36 for laptop. In the west, we have 2107. For tablets, we had sales in the north, south, and west. And the grand total. So if you total this, you have this. This comes here. Total all these three, you have this. Total this four. This three also, you have this. And then so you can total this way. So you total it anyway, and you get that same result. So that's one way to go. Of course, you can actually switch things up like that. Let's move on. So what if we want to do some kind of grouping, sorting, and filtering pivot data? So first of all, talking about grouping, you may want to group dates, right? You want to group dates, e.g. by month, quarter, year. So, or you can group numbers by, like, say, sale buckets, like 0 to 500, 501 to 1000. So all you just need to do is right click on a row label, right? So say we want this row label now. We right click on it, and then we can group. So I just group. Oh, we can group the selection. Okay. A row label is okay. A row label would that be region? Okay, we are unable to group this now. Okay, so right click on a row label and then click on group row label and group. Okay, but by the very essence of the pivot table, even we have all this sorted in this place. Let's see what do we have here. Okay. Right. So, or we can also sort values in the pivot table field list panel. You can sort values. So sort values in the pivot table field list. Do we have anything like that here? Pivot table fields. Yeah, I think we have all this sorted like this. Okay, I guess I want to move on to for sorting. You can right click on a row or column label and sort A to Z or Z to A, or sort values in the pivot table field list panel. So this is the field list panel. Okay, I mean the sorting is it's like we can drag stuff and all that. Say we want to have, let me see if we bring region down. Okay, that doesn't make any difference still. For filtering, you can use filter pane for top level filters, maybe by year. So let's see. I want to filter. Do we okay? We have dates here, so I can drag dates down here. So once I bring dates into it, we have all this. Uh, so we have all these dates right here. So maybe we want to select multiple, so we just say okay. So it still doesn't change anything, maybe based on the nature of this particular data set I have. So, but I mean, you can play around with all of this as much as possible. So if you want to remove anything from here, just drag it out. Okay. So let's say for the columns now, you don't want to see the product, for instance, you want to see the date. So you can just drag the date to the column and then it gives you the dates, right? Okay, all these are in Japanese now. So it shows you the first month, that's January and so on. So you can have it from 1 to 12 like that. So of the sales also. So you can do it at the month level and all that. So, okay. So you can have dates. So, but of course, if you anything you want to move out, move it out this way and bring the product back. That was the product that was there before. But you can even see even without the products, you can have summary. If you want to see sales across the regions, you can just see it directly like this, right? Um, or you may just be interested instead of having region here, you may take the region away. You just want to see sales across the days, sales across the day. So it tells you, oh, in January we had this sale, in March we had this, and all that. Or maybe you want to see, so you can also take this away, right? Drag this out. Oh, so you want to see sale for each day, you can do that. You want to see sale for each date, you can do that. So dates and sales, you can remove this. Or maybe you want to see sale according to the product. You bring the product down here. So it told you that, oh, you have for the laptops, you have 63,000. This maybe this has been looking small all this while. Sorry. Um, Okay, so anything you want to visualize. So pivot tables make it very easy for you to see different angles of your data. So with little stress, without writing any serious code. So you remove product now. So we started with region, So you want to see sales across regions, and then probably just want to see the products. You now want to break it down based on products, you can do that too. That's what we started with. So if you want to remove anything from here, just take it away, and then it gives you sales across the regions. But what if you want to see sales across product, which I just did now? Right. This goes and just drag your product here. So you have all of this. What if you want to see sales across maybe sales based on units sold? Does that make sense? Yeah. So for 19 units sold, you have all the sales too. So you can just play around with this as much as possible. So we can also have calculated fields and value settings. That's also a very powerful thing to work with here. So let's take it back to what we had before. We had product here, and then we had this is gone. We had region here. So let's assume we are working with this. So we can have calculated fields and value settings. What you do here is you can right click on a value field and summarize values by, options like sum, count, average. So right click on a value field. Is it this now? Okay, this isn't working. So right click on a value field. Okay, let's go straight to now. I mean, this is important. Right click on the value field and summarize values by. Okay, let me bring this back now. So we have product, this, and we have region coming down here. And then we have this. So do we have summarize here now? Okay, more such options. We can have label filters here, equals and all that. Column labels. Right click on value field and we summarize values by. Yes, this is what we're saying. Summarize values by say if you say count, yes. So you can summarize values by the count of all of these things now. So that's talking about calculate value settings. Summarize value field settings. Okay. So it can show you the number of items you sold across all these things now. So that's one way. You can also do calculated fields. That's what I've been trying to do. So you can go to pivot table analyze. So you can see pivot table analyze up here. All right. And then under that, so you click this, and then here you have fields, items, and sets. So you can click on it. And then the next thing is you have calculated fields. So you can do this. And from there now you can create a custom formula using existing fields. Let's say you now want to create a profit field. And then, of course, your profit will be sales minus cost. Sales minus cost. Then you add that and say, okay. All right. So you automatically have profits across each product. Okay. And then you can end up having the sum of profits too. So you have sum of profits. So you can see here that which region now? The eastern region had a loss. Other regions made gains. So you can create a custom formula like this. Okay. And that was why I had to delete the profit initially, because we can always make that later. Now, let's come to talk about pivot charts and slicers for interactivity. So talking about pivot charts now, let's see. So let's come back to our data set and see. So for to select your pivot, so for pivot charts now, the first thing is you want to select your pivot table. Okay, we already have our pivot table here. So let me remove profit so it can be more manageable, right? So it can be more manageable so we can see easily. Okay, so select your pivot table. So we come here and select our pivot table. So once you select your pivot table, so you can go to insert and you can find pivot chart. Yeah. So we have pivot chart right here. So you can have different kind of charts, just like we had yesterday. So you can have line charts, you can have pie, so you can have bar charts. So you should, so if we pick this bar chart, for instance, we just say okay, and then it brings out the chart for the product. And then we can switch things around, right? So if you don't want to see tablet, maybe you're just interested in smartphones, right? You just pick only smartphone and then you have only this left. Or you just want to compare smartphones and tablets, right? So you just say, okay, I have this, and you have it across the regions too. Or maybe you just want to see only the north, south, and west region, or north and south region. You have this also. So you can play around with all this as much as possible. So that's about pivot chart. So you can choose any kind of chart you want. You can take this back. So one thing about visualization is that you you have to try different ones to see the one you really like. So insert again, right? And here we had pivot chart, and then you have different ones, pie, bar, area, XY scatter, this and so on. Okay, so this goes. So let's talk about slicers. So for slicers now, you can go to pivot table analyze. All right. Well, here we are already, and then you choose slicer. So insert slicer. So we click on slicer. Now, for the slicer now, you can choose one or more fields to create interactive filter buttons. So you can click buttons to filter data instantly, format slicers for better visuals like colors and all that. Let's say we want to insert say what do I want to do now? Let's say date slicers, so to speak, and then we have this. Okay, so you can move around. So we need to choose one or more fields to create interactive filter buttons. Click buttons to filter data instantly. Okay. Let me get this back. Go to pivot, insert slicer. Okay. One or more fields. Okay, I think we did that already. So insert, then we have slicer. So let's say we have region and product, and we say okay. All right. So we can just filter things out very easily. So once we add printer, it joins. We add smartphone. So anyone you just want to see. So you can just move around easily. Just want to see north. So I can move this away. I want to see south. Just south. I want to see only west. I want to see east. Maybe I need to print something out. So I want to see smartphone here. So you can just move around like that. Okay. So let's take it back to where we're coming from. So you can use slicers that way. Yep. There's also timeline. You can also insert timeline, to insert timeline for date field. So you can go to pivot table analyze and insert timeline. So you click insert, and here we have timeline. And once the timeline thing comes, so select a date field. So we have date, and use the timeline to filter periods interactively. So, okay, so we can say what's happening in August. What about September? There was nothing, no action. In June, we had something. So in July, nothing. In August, nothing. In September, we had show in the north. In October, it was west. In November, we had things in east and south. In December, we had things in east and south too. So this can also probably help you to make some decisions about, oh, okay, in this region, in this particular time of the year, this is what they want. So those actually can be of serious help. So, I mean, the use cases, just like we've seen, is we can use it for to analyze sales by region. I'm talking about pivot tables and pivot charts now. You can use them to analyze sales by region and products. So in that case, you can have data set with like date, region, product, sales, and that's of course the chart we have used now. So, that's basically the idea. So some tips and best practices for pivot tables include the following: that you can always refresh the pivot table after updating the source data. So, we have this pivot table now. If I come here and say, maybe I now have another line added. So maybe say, um, let's say, by January, that's January 7th, 2025. Okay. Then in the, let's say in the East, we now have a sale of laptop. Okay, we have a sale of laptop, and 27 units were sold, and the unit price for the laptop is say 1045.43, right? So, and the cost per unit, how much you bought one unit was like say 890.54. Okay, and the sales, of course, I think the sales should be a product of units sold and number of units sold and the unit price, most likely. So here, I didn't pay attention to that, but it's okay. So this should now be like this times unit price, and we have this, right? Then the cost, okay, cost per unit. This should be like total cost now, right? So this is like uh units multiplied by cost per unit. Okay. And we have this. So we can also get profit from this, right? By subtracting one from the other. So now that we have added something new, so if you come to your pivot table, you have to refresh. Um, so you always refresh. How do we refresh this now? Let's see. Um, Pivots, power pivots. Okay, timeline. This is done. So, um, to refresh, we have the pivot table. Um, refresh. Pivot design, the design. Okay, this is for analyze. Trying to see, insert. Okay. Okay, I can't seem to find the refresh right now. Okay, so I guess to stop wasting time, let me just continue to the next. Um, but this refresh is really important. I remember. Okay, in case you know where that should be, please let me know in the comment section. Yeah. But now that you have added new data, we don't have to start afresh. We just need to refresh our pivot tables. Let me see, can we right click and refresh? Yeah, great. I found it. So we just refresh to capture new realities. So for instance, so if we remove all these things now, okay, okay. So we can come back here and maybe we can even remove this. So, the other time the East had a loss, right? So if we right click and refresh, yeah, so you can see it has taken care of. So the new information that was added, that's 28226, has come, and now the East is no longer at a loss. It's now we now have a gain, kind of. So okay, yeah, we now have. Okay, the profit is not here this time around. Let me, if I add a profit now, we can see that the profit might still it might still be a loss, but the loss would have been reduced. I think it has been sort of reduced like that. Okay, so that goes. Now, another thing is you can use named ranges or tables for dynamic data updates, and then you can avoid altering raw data directly in pivot tables. So, in pivot tables, you can don't alter raw data because the pivot table is powered by the normal data set you have before now, from the original table or range, whatever you choose, whether a table or a range. Then you can use custom number formats for better presentation. E.g., you can use currency, you can use percentage and things like that, depending on what exactly you want. So with this, we come to the end of this video. Thank you for coming along on this journey. If you have subscribed already, let me I appreciate you. If you have not subscribed, of course, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell also, so you can always get alerted each time a new video is released, right? And you can become a member of my channel at different layers right now. So just click on join and you find those possibilities with the different benefits attached to all of that. All right. So be sure to like and share this video also and other videos on this channel so that more people can have access to the great content I have going on here. Till I come your way again, keep doing data right. Bye.